Welcome everyone to Super User TV. I am your host, Derek Cruz. In this video, I have the Asus Transformer Pad, the TF300. Basically what I'll be doing is a walkthrough of the tablet portion, laptop dock portion, and both of them together. Give you some specifications, thoughts and opinions, information, all that good stuff, okay? Alright, so let's go and get started. So I'm going to start off with the tablet first. Here you have the 10.1 1280 by 800 touchscreen panel with the Asus logo top left corner, and in the middle you're going to have your webcam. Here at the bottom, very subtle, you have an arrow pointing down to help you guide the connector to give you a better attempt to connect to the dock. Here you have the bottom of the device. As you can see, you have a speaker port there. You have your charging port here. Once you get a closer look, you'll notice at the top you have the arrow, which helps you indicate where it's located for your dock. And at the right you have the same port. If you take a closer look, you'll notice the thickness and the finish over the bezel. And it looks really good. On the right side of the device, it's pretty much flush until you get towards the end. At the top, you'll see the 3.5mm headphone jack. At the top of the device, again, pretty much flush with a slight microphone there. And then when you get to the top left corner, you're going to find your power button. Now the left is where there's a lot of ports, which you'll see the volume rocker, your micro HDMI port, and your micro SD card slot, followed by another microphone. Okay, and again you'll notice the thinness and the quality over the corners. Very nice looking device. And finally you have the back of the device. Very nice design with the Asus logo in chrome. Here at the bottom you have your FCC sticker, which you can peel off, and then you have your camera. Okay, followed by lastly the speaker here at the corner, which can be covered by your hand, but it can also use as to cup the speaker to bring the noise towards you. Okay, just depends on how you hold it. So here you have the docking keyboard, the keyboard docking. As you can see, the charging port there where it clips on. Once it clicks on correctly, it'll lock with the locking mechanism there, which is also the unlocking mechanism. Okay. Now, on the left side, you have your charging port, which is exactly the same one that's on the tablet portion, making you or allowing you to use the same charging. Okay. On the right side, you have your full SD card slot. Okay. And then you also have your USB host here. Great for ice cream sandwich, which allows you to do USB hosting. So you have your USB port here. Great for mouses and cameras and USB sticks, anything like that. Okay. And then you have the full QWERTY keyboard, or the full keyboard I should say, here with the additional buttons of the to make using Android that much easier. Okay. On the left side, as you can see, you have the special buttons here located with the screenshot capabilities. Pretty much smooth finish. Okay, the mouse, touch sensitive mouse with your left click, right click, which you can program to do certain things. Also, this is not gesture control, but it's a lot easier when you have a whole touchscreen on your touch panel. Okay. So setting this up is actually quite simple. If you follow the arrows I showed you earlier, it'll actually make docking this quite easy. Okay, as you saw, the locking mechanism took care of everything. It'll turn on. Note that the keyboard does have its own power source, which allows you to get more battery. As you can see, the thickness here. The keyboard does add a bit of weight to it. Definitely get used to it, depending, because if you're so used to just carrying the tablet around, you'll notice the difference. Okay. But again, it reminds me a lot of a netbook, except thinner. However, a little bit heavier than a netbook. Okay, as you can see the finish there. Lastly, of course, is going to be the operating system itself. This is running a version of Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0.3. All right. Now, it's only been out for a couple of months, and in those couple of months, the Asus has done a great job updating, allowing face unlock under security. Okay, they've add camera improvements as well as just performance improvement as well. As you can see here, a couple of differences here and there. It's going to be the Asus customized setting. Allows you to change your screenshot opportunities, and of course the notification panel. This is where they change it up a bit as far as ice cream sandwich is concerned. As you can see here, it looks drastically different. However, you can turn on and off that option. Again, I love that. Options are great. I prefer stock ice cream sandwiches, you can see here, and that's what they give me. They give me that option to do so. Okay, as before, this is running the Tegra 3 quad-core processor, so the performance is actually amazing. I haven't had any issues. Video games, especially those that are made for Tegra 3, look great, which I'll be showing you a review of those actually very soon. As well as the USB port that I showed you on the dock does wonders as far as being able to plug and play controllers for this device. Okay, now Asus does have a wide variety of applications that they add, as like a lot of us like to call it bloatware. A lot of them are cool and nice. Some, there are other applications or services that you might use, but however, one that I really do enjoy is SuperNote. Okay, this is one that I can see a lot of us using for many purposes. It allows you to take notes and either with the dock, so you can type, or with a touchscreen. Okay. Also, whatever you draw, it mimics it and writes it down here at the top left corner. Also, taking photos, downloading photos, inserting photos onto this is also a breeze and easy. So taking notes can be actually very simple. Great for classes. Okay. Also, you can have the share button here at the top. A lot of good options. Very, very handy note-taking application here. Actually, one of the best I've seen for tablets for ice cream sandwich. Okay, optimized, I should say. All right. And overall experience, guys, is great. As far as hardware, the thing I note is because there's always an issue as far as it feeling cheap. I can't say that's the case. It feels really good in the hands. The finish is nice. Now, it's not the same metallic or metal finish as the Prime, but it's really good. I like it. However, one thing do note that whenever I hold it with two hands and you tend to push, you'll find it kind of creaky here in the middle. I've asked others with the same device what their experience was, and they've said that they've, one of them actually didn't have that issue, another one did. So I'm not sure if it's just a random act or it's actually an issue. Note, do performance looks good, and that's pretty much it as far as the this Transformer Pad is concerned. The dock and the pad itself, it's a different level as far as experience is concerned. The tablet itself is nice, don't get me wrong. However, if you need, processing, word processing, it's definitely a nice thing to have the dock, especially with battery life. Dock or tablet alone gets about 9 hours straight, depending on your usage. However, with the dock, you get about 14-15 hours of battery life. Again, it can actually go on for days depending on the way you use it. I use it as far as I consider myself as an average user, and it will last me about 2-3 days before I actually have to sit and charge it overnight. Alright, so if you guys have any questions or comments about the tablet, the dock, or the combination of both, feel free to leave them down in the description below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys until next time.